Hi, everyone. Full disclosure, it's after midnight when we're recording this, so we're going to get a little silly with this one, I think. Welcome to the Unqualified Film Bros podcast. Ben's already preparing for a very silly evening. Uh, Thanks for joining us. We are coming at you with a new episode after last week's double dip. We are here with you this Friday morning on what are we talking about? The Mandalorian and Grogu. It is the first Star Wars film to be released in 7 years almost. First theatrical Star Wars film in that same time since Rise of Skywalker, wrapping up, but not really wrapping up, 3 seasons of The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. So, Star Wars, one of our big tentpole franchises of what we've all loved for decades, back on the big screen. Boys, what'd you think?
I mean, come on, man.
Right.
Like, it was cute. It had its fun moments, but come on, man. Like, we're gonna sit here and we're gonna compare The Mandalorian and Grogu, even to season, what, 3 of The Mandalorian?
You agree with
Uh,
like
come on.
well the problem is that it's so half-assed. Like it was clearly trying to set up in season three. Oh, they're gonna take on what's his name?
Ron,
Blue guy. Yeah, Thrawn. And then they're like, oh, I know we're gonna save that for Ahsoka season two. It's like pick pick something,
well,
okay?
the way this movie was originally
Was it
sold to us as fans was it's gonna wrap up Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka, like all of that 5 years after Return of the Jedi, that period, that was all gonna be wrapped up by this movie. And instead, it's Mando and Grogu on an adventure that we could see in any season of the show.
And that's fine,
it's not
right?
that
But
interesting
like, why are
whatsoever.
you spending 200 plus $1 million making this? Just make it a season
Yeah.
or like a special presentation or something. I don't know.
Even that, like, I don't think this would be a good season either. Like, they fucking lost the point. The point of The Mandalorian was, all right, we got this Western gunslinger in space.
It's Adventure of the Week.
Yes. And that's what it should have been. And then it gradually, over time, got tied into this, like, grand plot that Dave Filoni has. And then we get this movie, which is like, what is this? Rot of the Hut? What the fuck is that?
I saw a great, and I can't remember who said it, but I saw a great tweet right after I saw the movie saying if I had a nickel for every time a Dave Filoni TV show has forced 3 episodes together to tell us the story of Rot of the Hut in theaters, I'd have 2 nickels because it's just the Clone Wars movie again.
It's so stupid. And look, I know some people love Dave Filoni. They're like, oh, he loves Star Wars, but he may love Star Wars, but his idea of how these things should go is like Marvel. And like the bad parts of Marvel, which is that everything must connect together. What if this guy showed up here? Oh, what if this guy? You remember this guy? Oh yeah, we got a what's the meme? Glup Shido. That is Dave Filoni.
There's a
Glup.
lot of Glupshido in this movie, but Dave Filoni and John Favreau talked on the junket about, trying to get kids that love of Star Wars that he had when he saw the original trilogy back in the day. And I can appreciate that and I can understand that. But where Dave Filoni comes from is he has a very, very anxious attachment to the Star Wars that he did. He
Yeah.
is very locked in on the Clone Wars and that era.
Clone Wars and Rebels. And aside from that, he has no ability to like, oh, what if there's a new character? No, no, we don't do that here.
There was a great line that Tony Gilroy talked about in the wake of season 2 of Andor, where he spoke about what had been told to him, and I forget by whom, but about joining a franchise like this as a writer. and that's you're gonna have a lot of urges to play with all the toys in the toy box. But what you should do is leave more toys than you found. Don't just go back to what's already been done. Advance things forward and do something new. And that's what he did with Andor. There's a little fan service. You've got the Bail Organa, you've got the Mon Mothma, you've got all these legacy characters in there, and I get that. But the world around Cassian, Melshi, and Bix and
A fundamentally different story.
Marva,
Those
they're
characters
all,
expanded them. I mean,
yeah,
in
we're doing new stuff with that. And this is just, hey, let's play the hits. And by the way, there are huts.
these are not even expanding the characters. It's just like Zeb shows up. It's like, hey, I'm Zeb. You know, remember me, guys? I'm in the Clone Wars. Sorry, not Clone Rebels. I'm in Rebels. Direct quotation.
I remember him saying that, yeah.
But that's kind of how it feels like Dave Filoni just operates. Is these people that he likes because he wrote them and made them just show up everywhere. And there's no opportunity. And even like original characters are like latched onto that idea that he's already created. And so you're never going to have the adventure that you had with those original films because there's no adventure to be had. We're literally rediscovering things, you know. It's like a flashback episode. It's like, oh, remember this? Who cares? There's no adventure, there's no excitement. And
I
when I
think
first saw like the first few episodes of The Mandalorian, I was like, oh, this is good. This is fresh. This is a nice idea. And then, you know, I think personally, I don't know what the inside details are. I don't think that Baby Yoda, Grogu, whatever you want to call him, was supposed to like stay for that long. But he got a lot of like social media stuff. He got a lot of attention, and then they're just like, what if he kept him? But this is bad. Like, the Western gunslinger should necessarily be a tragic hero. Eventually, he must die. And even had a chance to kill him in this movie, and he can't do it. Of
they did bring back force healing from the sequel trilogy, though.
course, I'm like, oh, Venom. All right, yeah. Where have I seen this before? I
Like
mean,
there's no thought in the audience's mind that anything remotely bad is going to happen to Mando in this movie.
that's completely defeats the purpose of the idea of a Western.
Well, the thing is, and yes, I 100% agree with you, and I think that's the direction they should have gone in.
This is not a Western. They completely abandoned that.
No,
Like probably past season one. Like when they got to season two, they were already starting to get there. By season three, it was full blown. But this is not the Western. This is more just like they've given up on that, and now they're all in on the, Baby Yoda, Grogu, pop culture things. We got all these different toys, like you talked about, and they're just all coming out to play. But they're not even the interesting ones. We don't even get Thrawn. We just get like what's his name, Commander Coin or whatever.
but Thrawn is pushed off to Ahsoka season two, which again, this movie was supposed to wrap up all of these stories,
Yeah.
and now Ahsoka season two is next. Are they going to do another
Why bother?
Mandoverse movie after this?
I think they had an interesting thing that they could have explored that's original, and maybe they will still do that. But like, I don't know, anything to do with the Force and stuff like that. That's way more interesting for that plot than Thrawn. That just feels like an old enemy that just won't go away. It doesn't feel epic. It doesn't feel interesting. It feels like,
That's that's what made Moff Gideon so excellent as a villain
yeah.
is that well, one, Giancarlo Esposito is just the best. Love me some Stan Edgar. Anyway, the dude can play a villain like nobody else, but he brought something new to the story. He was a new antagonist for a new protagonist of The Mandalorian in season one. And by writing him out of the story at the end of season three, you're kind of stuck with this hero without a villain. And so now you're latching on this Mandalorian, this Western lone gunslinger. You're latching him on to this plot that Dave Filoni thought of 20 years ago, and it just feels like a mess.
And I don't get why. Like, I understand if you want to get rid of Moff Gideon because you're ending the TV show, but you don't get rid of him and then just continue. Like, what's the point? You will either continue having him if you want to do a movie and you have him be the nemesis, but you just like you don't take 3 seasons and then just, oh, we're doing a movie now. And then you introduce some random guy that turns out to be another guy that you already knew. It's like, what the hell, man? What's the point? It's like 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, but like one of those side plots, right? Where it's just like, oh, he takes him down. Okay, cool.
It really does feel like multiple, like when Mando and Grogu go back to Navarro and they're back at their little house. It feels like the end of an episode.
Yeah.
When Grogu's taking care of Mando in that little hut, like I could see that being like half of a half-hour episode.
I mean, honestly, it probably has been. If
Yeah.
I had to look back. Yeah,
Did anybody rewatch any of The Mandalorian before seeing this?
No.
honestly, I really liked the first season. Second season was losing me a bit. Third season,
The only reason why I
Disaster.
was so excited about season three was because the Book of Boba Fett came in between seasons two and three,
and I
and the
thought,
2 episodes of Book of Boba Fett that were the best were just Mandalorian episodes.
actually,
Yeah, it was great. I was like, where the hell did that come from?
I mean, the other thing is like, I thought that the Book of Boba Fett, the first episode was like, oh, maybe there's some interesting things here, and then it was just like that, and then it just moved to the Mandalorian. I felt kind of bad. Like that should have been a show in itself, and why was that those were really good Mandalorian episodes where it was just like randomly there. Nothing made sense. Nothing makes sense. Dave Filoni is like an Easter egg hunter, but he doesn't know how to put them together.
He's gonna put himself in this movie twice with that stupid
Why,
cowboy hat.
why is Martin fucking Scorsese here too? Like,
Yeah.
ow.
I liked seeing Marty.
Yeah, but why is this the one?
Yeah, but like
Come on, this is the worst Star Wars movie, I think. The
No, it's
whole
not.
what's a other than the holiday special, what is a worse Star
I take this over Rise of Skywalker.
I honestly, I'd still take Rise of Skywalker just
I
because.
take this over Attack of the Clones.
Nope,
no.
nope. Honestly, any of the like, there are bad parts, but there's also really good parts, which are that's the tragedy of prequels, not the sequels. The sequels are kind of a hot mess, but prequels, there's really good parts, and then there's a lot of bad parts. But if somebody had fucking edited,
The strengths of the prequels are one great performance from Ewan McGregor.
and Ian McDermott,
Okay, whatever. I
oh,
didn't, whatever. Um, a great John Williams score and filling in a lot of the lore.
well, honestly, the strongest things for me in the prequels, and something that Andor touches on, is the politics. Like, it's
But
just,
Andor does it so much better.
well, yeah, because yeah, but
The prequels, they push the politics, they introduce it and then they push it to the side.
the thing is that he just didn't know what he wanted to do. He wanted to put in politics, then he wanted to be like kid friendly, so he put in Jar Jar Binks. But the political
And
side is really
then
interesting.
they put Jar Jar in the politics.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Again, I will say some of that stuff can still be used today. How does democracy die? You
It
vote.
dies in darkness, Ben. You should know that.
The Washington Post made it.
With thunderous applause. But all of that to say, the prequels have their strengths. This movie does too.
No, it does not.
They are fewer and further between, but The action sequences,
Prequels were bad. That's what I'm saying. The fact that these have less is not good.
the the action sequences here are incredible, especially that opening, on par with season one of the show. And Ludwig Göransson's score is
Okay, okay,
tremendous.
okay. Of course it is. Of course it is. He wins an Oscar every fucking time he does a movie. Anyways, you're telling me that you would rather go watch The Mandalorian and Grogu. How many times out of 10 more than the prequels? Like if you had to pick between one of the prequels and The Mandalorian and Grogu
Any any of the prequels,
at any given point, yeah.
I,
Like 8
I
out of
would
10,
rather
9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. It's got to be up there.
I would
It
rather
shouldn't be less
watch
than 7.
I'm never going to watch
put
this movie.
put it up against I will watch this again, I guarantee it.
No.
I put it up against Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith. I'm watching Phantom Menace or Revenge of the Sith over this. Put it up
Why
against Attack of the Clones.
would Attack of the Clones has some good stuff.
I don't like
Mainly,
sand.
mainly like that stuff is
I
less.
just I just rewatched the prequels like a month ago, so they are fresh in mind. I don't know. There are parts of this that I like more than the prequels.
I have nothing to give this movie. I It just lacks anything that like at least the prequels had some of the ideas that like and maybe it's nostalgia too. I remember watching them and it's like, wow, I'm still exploring things. But I think that's the idea is that I feel like I'm still exploring a universe in those. And in this, it's it's terrible. It's like karaoke night, which I had a lot of fun at. But uh it is like,
For context, we did karaoke last weekend,
right? They're just singing like the greatest hits, but like to a different accompaniment, but not very well. You know,
like karaoke night.
listen to it, right? You have fun doing it. I'm sure Dave Filoni has tons of fun putting all these things together, but I don't think that I really want to listen to it.
Mhm.
But when it's got Ludwig Göransson's score behind it, you want to listen to it.
I'm talking about the components. Goranson's great. No matter what he does, this is a terrible movie. The score's great. Doesn't matter. But it
You're
doesn't
talking about Attack of the Clones? It's a terrible movie with a great score.
also like John Williams, right? Every Star Wars movie has a great score. John Williams is there. It doesn't make the movie good. Especially when you hear some of the John Williams stuff and it's like, wow, I remember hearing this sort of thing, but in a better movie. That's how I felt with some of the sequels. But this one is far worse than sequel.
The sequels are next on my
Even
watch.
I wasn't the biggest fan of Solo, but I'd take that over this, honestly.
Yeah, I remember not
Solo
liking Solo either.
also rewatched recently. It's a fun adventure in ways that this movie is not.
I
You
hate it
know,
in different ways.
but Solo also took all of Han's backstory and put it into like a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, also,
And
I think it's a terrible decision to take somebody like Han Solo, whose entire like interest is that he's a Mystique guy. Like you don't know what he's done. He has all these stories, and then they put them out on film. It's like, okay,
like, here's how this happened, and here's how this happened.
that's great. And they even decided to correct the physics mistake that George Lucas introduced with
Uh, 12 parsecs.
not a unit of time, a unit of distance. So they're like, all right, what if you took like a shorter? We went through the wormhole or whatever, the maelstrom. Um, just go somewhere else. I've been preaching this every time I watch a Star Wars movie. Go somewhere else. go to a different time, use different characters, make something new. That was what people got dragged into Star Wars for. It was like, you didn't know who Luke Skywalker was. You didn't know any of these people. That's the point. But it's not exciting. You know, we didn't know who Obi-Wan Kenobi was when he first got introduced. All these people were new. It's not exciting when you just take a new character and like, go through the same steps we've seen before, or even The Mandalorian, where you go through new steps and then you get the same problem, which is they just keep introducing them to old characters we know. Then we're no longer adventuring. Then we know who these people are. When you go on an adventure like Alice in Wonderland, that's a great one. Lewis Carroll, all these fantastic people, creatures, you don't know them, and you go from one to the next, and you're learning all these crazy things. And that's the enchanting part of it. That's why we love it. There's no point to go through the greatest hits. Like, yeah, it's kind of fun, but it's like listening to your playlist. Yeah, gets you in the mood, but there's nothing like that first time where you first get introduced to something. Originality is why Star Wars.
That's what so much of the discourse around this movie has frustrated me with. That's a sentence, right? Sorry, I'm tired. Um, what Favreau and Filoni are saying is this is a lot of kids' first chance to see a Star Wars movie in a movie theater, which, by the way, they put the old movies back in theaters like every year for their anniversary. I go every year. It's awesome. Anyway, I digress.
Okay, but then it
This
goes back to that point that we keep having about kids' movies and family-friendly movies, where we don't have to keep settling for this.
And kids, they're not dumb, man. Look, they can go see Hopper.
also, if you want an introduction to Star Wars, subscribe to Disney Plus or buy a Blu-ray or DVD of episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Well, I do think they should watch the
That's your introduction to Star Wars.
think that like their entire idea is flawed. Like, what are they doing? Introducing random characters to do with what the Clone Wars and Rebels? Is that what they're trying to get them into? Because that's kind of what it seems like. They're trying to get them into Dave Filoni's Star Wars. But like, what is the point of this? If
Dave
you
Filoni's Star Wars, not as good as George Lucas' Star Wars.
not by any stretch of the imagination. But if you want kids to get into this stuff, make something that's exciting like those movies and then have them go back. You don't have to introduce the characters, man. I mean, you don't have to latch. They're not stupid. I know they're young, but when I was a child, I understood how you could introduce a character. They do this all the time on like cartoons and all this stuff. They're not dumb. And these people, like Dave Filoni, are introducing all this stuff like kids are fundamentally stupid, like mentally handicapped people. And that's not true. They can put together these things, give them a good story. It doesn't have to be crazy. The original Star Wars is not anything that's hard to put together. Bad guy who, wants to look out in the stars, and he goes out in the stars. They don't even need to understand the whole idea. But when I watched it, I love the adventure of it. And I watched it later on and I understood more and more. But this is like a, SpongeBob or something. There's things that get later on, but you can put those fundamental things together that's entertaining, comedic, or in the case of Star Wars, adventurous. And there's nothing here. If you want to get into this, why is this so boring? Like, what are you getting into? Oh, there's Rod of the Hut. Oh, yeah, I know that guy. I'm a 6-year-old
Hey,
child.
hey, he's not his father. He's
But
not
what
his old man.
you made something that's literally designed by other stuff. If you want kids to get into this that haven't seen Star Wars, why have you introduced these blockades? I mean, my parents went to see this. They thought it was boring. They didn't understand what was going on. If adults can't figure this out because they haven't watched the other stuff, why the hell have you made this for children? The adults have lost their minds. Okay. I know
And
Dave,
three of them are on this podcast.
he has his supporters, but you cannot go the Dave Filoni way. You've got to fire him like immediately, honestly.
He's in charge. They made him in charge
You,
after they got rid of Kathleen Kennedy.
Hmm.
she was the problem. She's been for years. Everybody was angry at her.
What Star Wars needs to do is kick Bob Iger in the fucking balls and say, no, we're giving Steven Soderbergh and Adam Driver their Hunt for Ben Solo movie.
Like, why in the world would you? All right, so we have this guy, Adam Driver, really successful
Why
actor. Ben Solo.
why would you kill that movie and make this one?
You're just stupid. I mean, I'm so frustrated. It's like looking at David Zaslav's moves. They are fundamentally just disconnected from reality. They live in their own world. Dave Filoni is huffing his own fumes, man. Like, honestly, he thinks this is great. This is fantastic. And then, they
Well,
just
yeah, because he gets to put himself on camera wearing his stupid cowboy hat and be in a Star Wars movie.
so stupid.
He doesn't care. He cares about his toys that he brought to the table 20 years ago.
I will say, I think fundamentally, Dave Filoni is that kid, right? He wanted to be in Star Wars. Like, he saw Han Solo and he's like, yeah, that. Or Indiana Jones later on. That's probably why he wears that hat. Um, and now he gets to live that. But he doesn't understand that he's creating things that other people can latch onto and have that dream. He is living the dream, but he's not creating it for anybody else. And he is not
That's profound.
edu he's not in the industry of living things. It's art, it's creation. It's about the audience, not you.
Yeah. Also, another note about this movie, none of the performances is good.
They're all
Like
like they're like flat.
Pedro giving his vocal performance and his facial performance for about a little less than 4 minutes kind of feels like he's phoning it in a lot.
I think you
I
literally
did not enjoy Jeremy Allen White. First of all, why are the Hutts speaking fucking English?
I don't know anything why this
That we get it, dude. You're not your father. You said that line 4 different times throughout this
aren't
feature-length TV episode.
galactic. What is it? Oh God,
Language, Galactic Standard.
standard. That's I was about to say galactic normal. I was like, that's
It's English. But like speak Huddies, that's canon, please. And yet
you
his performance is still like they modulated his voice, but I still feel like I'm watching The Bear.
yeah, I don't think that Jeremy Allen White actually knew what he was signing up for. I think they
Hmm.
told him, "Hey, we got
I
a
think
Star Wars movie that you're gonna be in. What do you think
the
about
only
this?"
person who knew what they were signing up for here was the puppeteer who operates Grogu.
Yeah,
Like Pedro knew that he would have to show up to set for 1 day and show his face in front of a green screen.
report some line.
And like even Sigourney Weaver, who has the most glup shito line of the entire movie, saying, "This is Rada the Hutt, son of Jabba the Hutt." She didn't know what she was getting into, and she's done 3 Avatar movies.
Yeah, but Avatar at least is an original idea. This isn't like Glop Shidoos all over the place. You can make fun of
Oh,
it.
you better believe in Avatar 4 and 5, we're gonna get some glup shitos.
But the thing is that at least it's his vision. It's his like franchise. He wanted to make five. He's making five. It's fine to continue to use his characters.
Yeah,
It's
because
not
every time
fine.
he walks in for a meeting, he says, "We're gonna use the papyrus font, and I paid for this building, by the way."
Okay, and I'm gonna make you $2.5 billion.
Hey, Fire and Ash was the best of the three, and it made less than that.
All right, but they were distracted by other things. I didn't see it, and I love Avatar, at least in theaters. Saw it later on, but um,
That's right. We
Look,
missed you for that episode.
at least it was like, as I said, that's his baby. Dave Filoni is like making things in somebody else's world and being like, oh, what if these guys were like bigger players? What if they actually took the Empire themselves and
What
could
if what if we took these two action figures and hit them together a bunch?
do that, but be a screenwriter?
I think I think Jon Favreau is an excellent storyteller.
I don't think he had. Look, I'm gonna be honest. Ever since like season one, it doesn't feel like Jon Favreau has been able
Oh,
to.
it's Dave Filoni has been pulling all the strings.
Jon Favreau is there, and Dave Filoni's telling him like, "What if we did this?"
Yeah,
Which is a shame.
it is. And for the first Star Wars movie in theaters in 7 years, like
I
the
mean,
hype the hype wasn't there for this.
it wasn't. And
For a
there's no.
Memorial Day weekend release, nobody was excited about this.
Who cares?
I saw it opening day in DC, and I was one of like four people in the theater for a late afternoon screening. It
Yeah, that sucks.
sucks.
There's
Like
no.
it's Star Wars is probably the movie series that I hold closest to my heart. And to get something this lackluster while still having like there were moments, and I will reiterate, there were moments that I had fun with this. But like to get something that just feels phoned in for Star Wars, it's a major disappointment.
Like even the fun moments, I was just disappointed by the fact that the movie itself was just like I kept being reminded of what I was watching. And it's just not it. Like honestly, I will keep talking about that oh, I'm forgetting. They made like a kids show with Jude Law. Um and that had a better sense of adventure.
Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew. That had a better the ending was okay, but the original parts, that was adventurous. Like seeing these kids go off and, you're learning different things. It was worse when they introduced stuff that like I had known. And, like, oh, I remember this guy. But when it was all strange new things, that's what it's made of. The same thing that Star Trek was made of. You want to explore. You don't get to go out into space. But what's the point of going to the same planets and going to the same things?
Yeah. Thank God we didn't have to go to Tatooine again in this one.
And Tatooine's fine if you're using it for like a certain point. Like if you want to talk about established things and you have some interesting story to deal with, slave trade or something like that over there. But if you're not actually using it, go do something else. There's just no point.
So, The Mandalorian and Grogu is currently playing in movie theaters. Check it out and form your own opinion.
You can. It's an option.
Don't expect Empire or Rogue One or any great Star Wars out of this, but don't even expect the quality of the Mandalorian TV show. But go check it out in a movie theater. Experience cinema, experience Star Wars in a cinema if you never have before. But don't make this be your introduction to Star Wars. Please watch the original trilogy at least before you see this. Anyway, rant on that over. Mandalorian and Grogu is currently playing in movie theaters. Go check it out, form your own opinion. We will be back with a new episode next week. In the meantime, watch some good movies, ban AI in filmmaking, and whatever the third thing is. I'm really tired. Watch some good movies, ban AI in filmmaking, and support movie theaters. I think that's what I usually say. Whatever. All right. We will see you for a new episode next week. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.
Good night.